It's been a while, Nuggets, but lots has been happening, and not only in my life, but also for Wrenched, my 3D bullet hell platformer game. I've been working hard to round up a full alpha of Wrenched with everything in it from A to Z, all the levels, all the boss fights, all the collectibles, all the dialogue, the whole shebang. But as you might guess, that does not happen in a night's work. And so for the past few weeks I've been live streaming, prototyping new enemies, making new levels, but above all, making a ton of grey boxes. And since clearly not everyone has been keeping up with the live streams, I thought in this video I'd go over the progress and process that I use for grey boxing levels. And by the way, if you would like to be notified when I go live, please hit that subscribe button and that bell button so you get that oh so important notification. But before we do, if you have been a regular Nugget, you might know that I have something called community cards, where I, as Cherry Nugget Games, have set certain goals that we, as a community, can reach to unlock super cool collectible cards with characters from Wrenched, enemies from Wrenched, locations, but also on the backside, juicy details, spoilers, info, and much more of the story of Wrenched. Today, we have reached one more goal because, as it turns out, uploading 25 devlogs to my YouTube channel was one of those goals. And therefore, I am very happy to announce that I have a new community card for you. If you want to know more and read that juicy text on the backside of the card, head over to cherrynuggetgames.com. But for now, I would like to present to you the new community card. I really felt I needed to put my thoughts and to-dos on paper to help me through the final pieces. So the last few days I have been planning and writing down everything I think I need to do to get this alpha ready, but actually, as I'm saying this right now, I remembered one more thing. But wait here. Now I think I have everything written down I need to do to get this alpha out. I basically divided everything in clusters per level or per feature and simply made a wall with tasks I have to do and tasks I have done. And I like doing it physical like this as it just gives so much more overview and basically is more fun. Every time I start a task, I move it to my monitor and only take it off when it's finished, and then I move it to the done wall. And so hopefully after a few more weeks of work, I will have a full epic new alpha for you all to test. Talking about playing games, if you haven't wishlisted Wrenched yet on Steam, now is a great time to do so. Follow that link in the description down below and smash that wishlist button. Obviously, in that new alpha, there will be a lot of new grey boxed levels to test. Not finished, not polished, no art, just grey boxes, as it is supposed to be. It is very, very, very tempting, especially nowadays where you only get online attention when your games look slick, polished, and fully finished with flashy art and graphics, to right away focus on how things look. But I think it's much more important to focus on how things feel. Unfortunately, that translates very poorly to video or social posts. Nevertheless, if you have ever made a game or are currently making a game, you might know the pain of changing something you spend loads of time on. And this is why grey boxing or prototyping your levels is oh so important. The idea is you basically make a level out of grey boxes. Hence the name grey boxing. And you make those levels as rough as possible while still conveying what it is you are trying to convey to the players, or in this case your testers. This is why if you have made a section of jumps which doesn't work, instead of having to redo a bunch of art, assets and designs, you can simply move one box and fix your level. As you might expect, there is a art and finesse in designing levels. Unfortunately, I am not a level designer and I have no clue what I am doing, but here's my process anyway. Though the first step is often glanced over in my live streams, I actually have a pretty good idea of what the level is I am going to make. I don't know any specifics yet, but I know where the level is, inside the world, what the level is about, the enemies that roam there, the puzzles you will have to do, and what you will counter along the way, and lots more of those design details. So I am not going in blind, just making everything up as I go. Next, it's time to open the editor and jump right in. I personally don't do sketches or plan anything ahead. I think of the editor as a sandbox and like to see where my mind takes me. But even with all the knowledge I have about the level, starting off like this can be difficult. And that is why I always start with what I call a length gray box. It basically represents the most simple and flat floor plan of the level. It also serves as a gauge for how long the level will be. In its basic form, for Wrenched, it should take Carly about 4 to 5 minutes to walk from start to finish, and this way I know that the final level will have a proper length. After making this length gray box, I like to divide the level, color coding the different areas to see where there are battles, puzzles, or explorative parts. I use red, orange, and blue for this, and this gives me a sense of how the level will be paced. This color coding can of course be done at different stages, but remember that taking small steps in designing your level might help you get over any blank canvas fear that you might have. Also note that whatever we have done, are doing, or going to do is not set in stone. Only after the gray boxes have been tested and, more importantly, are loved by the players, we lock the level layout and we can start making art. Next, it's time to start filling out the level with a basic version of obstacles, platforms, and trying to visualize important elements as simple as possible. Here, for instance, during a live stream, I had the idea to make a crane which can be moved left to right, and so I made a simple looking crane. At this stage, it's very important to not make anything work, because you want to be as fast and loose as possible. So the crane cannot move yet, the doors don't work, the platforms don't work, and so on and so on. It's all about layout, ideas, and creating a vision for fun. And for you who have been wondering what tool I am using to make my gray boxes, it's Unity's very own Pro Builder, a free plugin you can download which has loads of features to make meshes right inside of Unity. It is a must when you are gray boxing. After playing, testing, and adjusting the gray boxed level myself for many hours, it's finally time for the next step: adding enemies and making stuff work. Now, I already have a bunch of tools, prefabs, and scripts written to make environmental hazards, traps, platforming challenges, and so on, and so now I can start adding these in and trying to make it a real working level. This means that I will have to rework, remove, and re-add some parts of the level to make sure that things have actual gameplay, like these magnetized platforms. And again, this is going to be rough, nothing polished, nothing with art, and nothing fancy. The idea is to have the players experience the idea of the level and not the level in full. Next, enemies are made in a separate scene and prototyped separately and are then added into the gray box. Lucky for me, since I color coded the entire level, I know exactly where to place the enemies. After many more hours of testing and adjusting, the gray box is ready for the next step. Most levels will have a boss fight at the end, and so this is the time to prototype it and add it to the level. Much the same as enemies are made, boss fights are built separately first and then added to the level. With the boss added, there's only one final step to be taken, which most of my levels need, and that is adding story elements, pickups, collectibles, and rough cutscenes. I am bulking this into one giant step, as for me, most of these systems work together. Once more, I am making it as rough as possible using these pink boxes as NPCs, dropping in generic crates as pickups, and writing very to the point dialogue. And after taking all these steps, you should have a gray boxed level which is easily adjustable, changeable, and tweakable if you need to change things that don't work. And don't be afraid to reshuffle this process and mix things up as you like, because sometimes some ideas can lead to other ideas which are definitely worth testing. Also, since things are so easily changeable, if you feel like you have to, don't be afraid to throw away a whole level at this stage, because that's why we graybox. For instance, the factory level I made and remade 4 times before I finally had something that I sort of liked. All in all, things are moving along great, and within short I should have something for you all to test out and get a real feel for the game. If testing Wrenched and being a first-class alpha tester is something that rings your bell, please join our Discord. And again, if you haven't wishlisted Wrenched on Steam yet, follow that link in the description down below and do so right now. In any case, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the Discord, and otherwise, till the next devlog.